I do not know what's worse, that Fionna got invited to a club only to see her ex stick his tongue down a girl who looks just like her, or that she was watching wishing it was her.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
Gonna be honest, this episode was wild and I loved it. Yes, I am the shipping guy despite half my videos not actually being about that, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling very well fed. Overstuffed, some would say, as let's run down the list. We saw the moment Fiona's world lost her magic. Fionna is simping for the man who broke up with her in a text. Hunter is giving more angles than I know what to do with, and Fionna is out here trying to get a taste. But she's got nothing on Finn's roster, who literally lined up to kiss him, leading to probably the filthiest case of fanservice Adventure Time has ever done. But we'll get to that. We got surprise and misery to break down, but if one thing remains consistent about Adventure Time, it is quality. And that the Cosmic Owl will always be useless.
Just ignore me.
Now I'm gonna get this one out of the way, as I've seen some people be a little antsy about how this season has had a slower start. Yeah, it's very much that, and you shouldn't be surprised, as we are all now on Adventure Timing, a show that has made its mint off of just some of the dumbest hijinks you will ever see, where the only thing you know for sure is that the writers are taking drugs. And that's accurately reflected in the episode, only for the next one to bitch slap you in the face with a lesson so profound you self-actualize, then ruin it by suddenly thinking you should call back your ex. It gives epic, profound, or straight up nonsense at its leisure, and this is the Adventure Time way. And last season kind of spoiled us with how rapidly everything happened. Every episode had some new hook with a multiverse setting. While its foot isn't on the gas as much as I would like, despite HW's bottom dying, the more personal and intimate vibe of this season for me is more than welcome. As by the look of things, we do seem to be setting up to head out into the multiverse, so it's cool to just sit with this world, with Fionna and her spiral.
I saved the world, and I'm still a loser.
Look, you can't say that the show isn't good at getting you invested, as Fiona's struggles are relatable, and her love life might be messier than Finn's. Now, to cover the actual beginning of the episode, I am adoring this new trend of each episode opening with a different animation style. We've gotten the simplicity of Huntress Wizard's backstory, and now the, well, outline-less version of Fionna and Cake's world pre-Simon. The bright colors really sell us on how magical things used to be, only for us to watch as they're replaced by the doldrums of modern life. No more beautiful textured backgrounds, just flat, boring, desaturated buildings. But besides the aesthetics, we also are getting well fed on some nightmare fuel.
Our souls are connected. I can't explain it, but I know there's something there.
We get the exact moment that Fiona's world just went from Wonderland to adulting sucks. With it being instantaneous, we get a flash of Golb's red, his digestion of the magic crown, and the world is reduced to its magicless state. No one's the wiser, leaving the antics and the actual painful looking violence of the moments before to be replaced with Fionna just running to do her job, while holding a hoagie, crashing into the guy who she previously was just saving, with the two not knowing each other. Which might be the most horrifying part of this whole setup, that there does seem to be a level of continuity. These characters didn't just wake up in the world, they came into it with some preset knowledge and relationships. Gary thinks that he and Fionna go way back. However, on the other hand, Fionna and DJ Flame, this is their first meeting. Then, after getting an eyeful, he hit it, quit it, then got a new one in green. Which cements my opinion that DJ Flame is probably a fuckboy. Now there's something else here that they could be playing with, and I kind of need this to be true to explain Fiona's, girl, why are you trying to get back with this dude? And why is he dating a girl named,
You can't be serious.
Fennel, who looks just like her? As these characters might be their own people now, however, that doesn't seem to mean that everything Prismo wrote just disappeared. There might be lingering effects that at that point, Fionna and Flame Prince were about to be a thing, Prismo was in that arc of his story, and then it ended. But the idea that, oh, they have feelings for each other, that may have remained, explaining Fiona's torch for him and his new girl. As I'm trying to I need to give Fionna an out for why she still hasn't gotten over this dude already. You know, besides, oh, he's hot. Like, we know what he texts her and it's so cringe. Though to be fair, Fionna is floundering with her life, so that is about the time people start romanticizing the past.
Fionna, seriously? He broke up with you! And a text message!
Surprising nobody that had more than 2 brain cells and wasn't drunk at the time, Queenie won't be selling them the lot because, well, she hates them. And these bitches be broke.
Queenie wants $50,000.
Now, ignoring how in real estate terms, $50K for an empty lot actually isn't that bad, these grown kids, these adult children, they don't have any more options. They don't have any money. Marshall isn't talking to the money bags he refuses to call mommy, but Fionna, desperate to help her friends so that they'll stay in her life,
But if you don't pull it together, everyone's gonna leave you.
locks in on the idea of like, oh, we can do a fundraiser. And honestly, I feel like that would work since she kind of did save the world and people would give her money, but they decide to make a concert Marshall Lee refuses to perform till his boyfriend asks, and they are all set to probably get screwed. My theory is that they're probably just gonna get hit with taxes that they realize they didn't have to pay on donations. I don't know, it's gonna be something stupid like that, as that's what would happen in the real world. But I am starting to really see the vision with how Fionna is so obsessed with this lot, that she feels like a failure right now, and she has been feeling like a failure for what seems like a very long time. So right now she is latching on to this lot, getting Gary this place, not realizing that chasing this probably is gonna only make her more miserable in the long run, when she really needs to like detach herself, talk to her friends, and find a more healthy way of going about things. But until then, Fionna will be doubling down on bad choices, and they seem to be all love life related.
I'm tough. I'm a tough guy.
Now before we get into the flame, we have to talk about how she got here, and how this show is determined to give this beefcake every angle imaginable. And Fionna is just absolutely smitten so much that she's hurt herself every time she is looking at Hunter, and it's adorable, but also kind of concerning that this keeps happening and it might turn out to be some dark twist later. But Fionna is here, still talking to her crush, who says he might be able to help her host her fundraiser at the park if she can talk to the committee. Which is cool, nice. I know it's gonna be a disaster, as of course it will. Look at how much drama this episode alone has been setting up for Fionna. Like seriously, Fionna got more relationship drama in this one episode than she's out here yearning for Hunter, crashes into her ex and is immediately DTF, then drags her friend to a club to find out he's dating her green doppelganger. And then she stumbles around drunk and tries to kiss Hunter.
You're drunk and not thinking clearly.
I'm so clear.
This girl is a hot mess and spends a shocking amount of time in this series drunk. She's kind of iconic like that, but that's unfortunately again tied to the pining for a man who broke up with her via a text.
He only broke up with me because his feelings were getting too real and he was afraid.
Look, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if they said I was afraid of my feelings, don't take them back. Don't do what Fionna did, which was see that DJ Flame is still hot, and that while he may have rudely broken up with her, like he might be interested in her again after she kind of saved the world. Now my conspiracy theory about this relationship is that we are gonna see this play out a little bit more as the series goes on, as I can definitely see them needing more musicians besides Marshall to really kick things off and to get the money that they need, plus someone who would know a lot of venues and who would know better than probably the hottest musician in town at the moment. This could work, but it would necessitate Fionna still being around the man who invited her to a party, only to start showing off his new girl and kissing her on stage. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I'm judging either way. And it really brings us to that, what would you prefer? Violent, misunderstood daughter, or a thought son?
Fionna.
We actually don't know too much about DJ Flame's actual personality, so we can't say for certain if this was intentional and he was trying to deal mental damage to Fionna. We can have Flame Princess early on was depicted as just being a wild but naive child who didn't fully understand the consequences of her actions. I'm inclined to think that this might be the case for Flame, or if you want to call him by his old grandpa-ass name, Felix, which fits because FP's other name is Phoebe. Felix might just be impulsive and a little bit stupid, not thinking things through about why this would be a bad idea, which could explain why he broke up with Fionna the way that he did. As despite what some people might say, there is a difference between being inconsiderate and being evil. He may have assumed Fionna was over him, that this would be fine. He didn't know that Fennel was gonna wear the exact same dress as Fionna, so we can give him the benefit of the doubt, because yeah, Flame Princess is great. He can't be that bad, right? Though I do need to know if he realizes how much Fennel looks like Fionna, as otherwise this is some crazy work. But with all this drama going on, I am happy that Cake's whole deal is just, they should go on a book date instead.
Well, in my day, we'd go dancing.
We're going clubbing!
Cake the cat is still lying about her height, with her whole date with Mcron just not panning out well, as bro could not handle the extreme sound of the club. This seems to be a very easy fix. They just need to spend time together in a place that they can actually talk. But one thing that I like about Cake trying to date Mcron is that even if we ignore how this might be part of Prismo's plan, it still carries forward this idea for Cake of seeking independence. Cake in season 1 was just a house cat who could vaguely remember being something more. So when she was given back her real self, she flourished in it, not wanting to go back to the way things used to be, as that would just be stripping her of her personhood. So now in season 2, we're seeing that idea develop even more, as she's trying to do her own thing, which I think fundamentally changes her dynamic with Fionna in a way that diverges from Finn and Jake's. So Cake trying to be on her own, getting her own place, does a lot to differentiate her from Jake, to show off how these characters operate less on the fantasy of ooh, and more on the mundane struggles of our own world. Cake wants to be herself, and while she wants Fionna to not do it, when her crush leaves, she goes chasing after him. I don't know if this is gonna lead between more drama between Fionna and Cake, but I would be down for it.
Hey, my girl's here! Come on up, baby.
Ugh, that was bad. But honestly, could have been way worse if Fionna actually tried to get up on that stage. At least here it's all in her own head versus the entire club wincing, as this town would probably never let her live it down. So instead, she gets trashed and accidentally stumbles over to Hunter, who is built, and based on those scars, trans. Yeah, for those who didn't catch it, those are definitely top surgery scars, meaning that Hunter is in all likelihood trans, which, pretty cool. No real thoughts other than more rep, probably inspired by his non-binary voice actor, Vico Ortiz. I always think it's fun when a cartoon takes inspiration from the performers, and my god, transphobes are gonna be mad as fuck about this, especially for what it means for Huntress Wizard. But honestly, fuck him. Though while it's cool for Hunter, I'm actually not certain what this means for Huntress Wizard, as based on her vampire world design, when she's human, she has green eyes and red hair, just like one of Farmworld Finn's kids. So either this Aryan horde is all hers, or they just adopted ones that look suspiciously like them, which is the Batman method, but none of this is a real issue, it's just a curiosity. So we're just gonna peek back to Fionna and find out she is...
I mean, I like you, but you're drunk.
She still feels like she is digging herself into a hole that she wants to hide in, as she is making moves on Hunter, and it's rough. She's out here drunk, a mess in front of her crush, talking shit about her ex, and finds out that his new girlfriend that she's trying to hate on is actually good friends with Hunter. Like, it's embarrassment after embarrassment with her, and after a point you almost miss the PTSD flashbacks of the Winter King. Now, for those who forgot, yes, Fionna has stuck her tongue in crazy before.
Fionna, help me!
That was crazy, and also crazy that this is never fully explained. We don't know if the glitching is directly tied to her anti-magic touch, as it could just be trauma. Fionna's not gonna handle any of this well, but thankfully Hunter is being as graceful as he can in this situation. Put some respect on Hunter's name, he is a gentleman. RIP to Fionna though, as she just stumbled into the night to barely make it back home. She starts calling herself trash when she's not, but she is trashed, venting about her life and crying into a flower pot, which revives a very dehydrated HW who spent the entire episode dying, and getting unhelpful advice from her mentor who still has his magic.
A broken tool seeks the flame. That's all my good advice. You're on your own, kiddo.
Now I'm starting to think that Spirit Warrior is a multi-dimensional being possibly tied to the root system we've seen, but the fact that he doesn't wear a mask and that he can still do this does mean that he's not a member of the Green Wizards officially. I'm kind of hoping we find out what his actual deal is, as it's bizarre that he shows up here doing a Cheers reference. And he's also giving advice that would apply more accurately to Fionna, who, feeling broken, did seek out the fire and got burned. I do wish I had more to say about HW here, but this episode was all mess and fan service. Speaking of which... So to summarize, PB can't save Finn, his fangirls are baying at the door for the chance to give him true love's first kiss, as despite years going by, they still think they have a shot. PB, as always after season 2, brings up her annoyance about magic, thinking it all hogwash, and then Marceline looks the audience dead in the eye to tell us they fuck.
A kiss can't bring somebody back from the brink of death.
That's not what you told me last night.
So no other options, and despite massive needles being put in them, they decide to give everyone a shot to kiss him. Maybe True Love's kiss would work, but Sleeping Beauty will not budge, and Simon's the only one here bringing up how weird all of this is. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and the most desperate measure of them all walks through the front gate.
You know, I really did love you.
A few moments later.
It was a long shot.
This whole sequence is just fan service. Fionna is dragging herself through a shipping nightmare, so they decide they need to torture us too by bringing back Flame Princess to kiss Finn one final time. It's clearly not gonna work, but if it means baiting the long broken, seriously, you need to check up on them. I thought they recovered, but after this, all the Flame and Finn shippers are officially dead. The writers did not have to do this, but they did, and it is purely for the love of the game. So I respect it. As after a point, intentionally torturing your fan base is an art, and this, my friend, is a masterpiece born out of sadism. And I, as a connoisseur of that shit, can only applaud. Also, $20 says PB is going to use the Enchiridion to go see Prismo, who is glitching out.
30 crystals on Huntress drying out before Fionna notices.
Great to hear Kumail Nanjiani again as Prismo. Wild how we all watched him on Twitter find out his agent didn't tell him that Fionna and Cake wanted him back. He has returned, and so is Prismo. And he's spectating everything once again. And while we hate it, you do have to respect it. A god like him does need rules, and since he had to let his best buddy die, he's sticking to him. But he's still here, spectating, and he's hanging out with a scarab who seems to have acclimated to taking the stick out of his ass every once in a while. Hang out in the hot tub for Prismo's vague explanation of what the World Tree root system is. However, the fact that Prismo is glitching is the most concerning thing here, as it does kind of resemble Fiona's glitching touch from season 1, but not exactly, as it lacks the extra rainbow colors. These effects seem to be too similar for them not to be related, as we have never seen Prismo do this before, and it could be a knock-on effect from Fiona's world connecting to the rest of the multiverse. We know that this has to be related in some way to Golb reducing things to their fundamental states, which I think that's the better way to describe it versus like anti-magic, as while that makes sense for the crown, for these hot dog people, yes, probably magic, but for how this world works, they could also be radioactive. So them being reduced to hot dogs does make the fundamental part very key here. This though is a mystery we have to see solved, and it's probably like one of the biggest lingering plot threads from season 1, as they never explain what the fuck this is.
Good night, Daddy.
Yeah, the ending to this episode is just hilarious. We watch Big Destiny's Croak Dream, where he is killed by his own son, only to watch Prismo watch Little D actually kill his father. And that shit made me laugh so hard, as all these fun, ridiculous choices could only truly happen in Adventure Time. No real grand point here, Fionna continues to be great, and just how relatable and lost she is. The shipping drama hits like a nostalgic throwback, as really, despite talking about this stuff for a living, I really thought I would have outgrown my love for Adventure Time shipping wars. But here we are, with a potential love square on the horizon, and I'm just like...
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.